and welcome to the 6th episode of our Age of Sigmar Mortal Conquest review. Here is my beautiful assistant, Wargamer daughter. Say hello. Yeah. This week we'll be reviewing issue 6. We're back to Undead this week after Stormcast last week. We have these guys who are called the Thorns of the Briar Queen. Actually one of the cooler ones. A lot of the cool stuff in AOS is very kind of teen, I don't say teen boy and insult teen boys, but it's very much aimed at a very specific target, hence everything from Khorne, you have the Blood Reavers and the Blood Secretors and the Blood Bound, it's all blood this. With the undead stuff, at least with this section of undead stuff, they've actually gone for stuff that has a lot cooler names. You have your Myrmidon Banshees, you have your Thorns of the Briar Queen and things like that. They're actually a lot more subtle in their coolness. What do you think?
They are interesting.
Just speak to the camera, baby.
They are interesting. And very dead. With multiple torture methods.
Yep.
And hanging.
And hanging. These are guys who've been killed, I'm guessing, on account of the fact they're all, that guy's, got no head. And that guy's got jails and a key. So we'll have a look and see what the background of these are. But yeah, you're right, they seem to very much be jailed people. We've got some beautiful artwork for whoever the Briar Queen is. The inner page is signed by Ian, who signs all of them. And they go straight into the Thorns of the Briar Queen with, to be honest, what's a really fantastic piece of artwork. I mean, that is really nice. What do you think, Julia?
It's very pretty and it should be a nightmare to make.
Don't worry, I'll help if you need it. Want to read the blurb? Remember, look up and
Blurb.
a blurb.
Enunciation. Yes. Okay.
Enunciation, Julia helped.
Indeed. Which one? There are two. Over the centuries, Shadespire has trapped many adventurers within its strange, illusory walls. That's how you say that.
Illusory.
Yeah. The Briar Queen and her ghostly followers have been ordered by Nagash to punish those who enter the cursed streets of Mirror City. Of the Mirror City. I missed words. That's great.
That's okay. It's deliberately pretentious, so...
Pretentious.
It's got a lot of stuff in
I
it.
know.
Got a description of the Briar Queen here. Once a mighty wizard, the Briar Queen has been driven mad by her imprisonment in the Night Vault. She now serves Nagash. She desires nothing more than revenge upon those who have wronged her. It's got a brief description here. It's, the Briar Queen was once a powerful death mage and a great enemy of Shadespire. Her armies broke through the city walls and threatened to tear it down from the inside. After a great battle, her plans failed and she was captured and sentenced to an eternity of imprisonment within the Night Vault, far beneath the city. Years passed and the Briar Queen was forgotten. Trapped for centuries in a cell made from shade glass, she was slowly consumed by madness. The Night Vault was created to hold Shadespire's enemies. The Lords of Shadespire, the Cataphragms, filled this magical dungeon with thousands of rivals, thieves and would-be conquerors. All of those imprisoned have been broken and tormented at the hands of their jailers. Thousands of years later, the souls of these victims still linger. Nagash saw them as a perfect tool with which to take control of Shadespire and remove all trespassers trapped there. Nagash broke the chains and spells that held these spirits and tasked them with imprisoning all outsiders in the depths of the Night Vault. The Briar Queen leads them, having been transformed into a powerful banshee. She now has an army of spirits to help her. Do we have the Briar Queen?
I think so.
Yep, we have the Briar Queen. Was there. Since being released from the depths of the Night Vault, the Briar Queen has been served by many night haunt spirits. Each of these undead geists seeks murderous vengeance against the living. They're all bound to the will of Nagash. We've got the Ever Hanged. The most powerful of the Chain Rasp followers is the Ever Hanged. He is a ghost of a mass murderer. The rope that ended his life still hangs around his neck. And that's that guy who looks pretty cool with a covered up face. Do you want to read that one? That's Varklav the Cruel.
Varklav the Cruel was the Briar Queen's main henchman. He was once the warden of the Night Vault until he found himself was guilty of murder
until he himself was found.
Oh my gosh, no. Words. Until he himself was found guilty of murder and locked in its depths.
So that's pretty cool. And then you've got the Chain Rasps. When Nagash cracked up the Night Vault, the Briar Queen and took the Briar Queen to his service, he knew she would need an army. Thankfully, the novel contained the souls of countless killers. So we've got the Chain Rasps we originally had, and we've got these Chain Rasps. She's basically a leader of the Chain Rasps, which is cool. It does explain why they're quite similar to the other Chain Rasps we've got. So you've basically got more of these dudes. So that's pretty cool. The realms, Shadespire. Shadespire was once a city of wonder and magic, a vast metropolis rising from the unforgiving earth of the realm of death. Unfortunately for the citizens of this great city, their magical creations drew the wrath of Nagash, and he cursed them all cruelly. Nagash has a tendency to do that. If it's not mine, it's not good. The faces of the dead stare out from the depths of shade glass mirrors, strip their spirits trapped under the shimmering surface. So there's a lot of cool stuff. Shadespire is obviously well known as one of the initial realms for the realms used for the Skirmish game, also based in AOS, whose name escapes me now because I failed. Because I thought it was Shadespire, but it isn't. And it's the one that isn't Warcry, because of course I can remember that. We've got some maps here showing where Shadespire is and what it looks like. So it's pretty cool. Then we've got the Hammers of Stigma, the Hammers of Sigmar, the Steelheart Champions. Liberator Prime, Severin Steelheart and his warriors were sent to Shadespire to retrieve samples of magical shade glass. They became trapped within the walls of the mirrored city instead. So they're basically stuck in there, fighting and killing and fighting and killing. I believe the Shadespire game comes with these guys as one of the units you can use. You've got three guys, a trio of heroes. He's accompanied by his two most trusted warriors, Oberyn the Bold and Angrahad Brightshield. So that's pretty cool. So you've got those three guys. Shade glass. Also, it's got a description of what shade glass is. Every time a Stormcast Eternal is slain and reforged, they lose a small part of their humanity. Eventually they become cold and distant, losing their grip on the memories. Severin Steelheart and his warriors were sent to Shadespire to reinforce the Night Questor Cantor Gloryborn, who had been tasked with investigating rumours of strange magical glass that held power over life and death. Unfortunately for Steelheart and his warriors, they became trapped in the walls of the mirrored city. Since that day, they have learned much about shade glass and collected many samples. Should they escape, this knowledge will be valuable to Sigmar and his armies of Stormcast Eternals. So that's pretty cool. And we've got the Chronicle. Next, we've got Nighthaunts, the Chronicles of Terror. Do you want to read that bit?
The Necroquake gave rise to armies of Nighthaunts, but these creatures have existed for thousands of years, albeit in smaller numbers. Their history is long and terrifying, punctuated by misery, death, and battles beyond count.
Age of Myth. There is a great deal of Nighthaunt activity during these years, but entire armies composed of Nighthaunts are a rare occurrence. Yeah, so it's basically some descriptions of where the Nighthaunts come from and what Nagash was doing during the Age of Myth, then during the Age of Chaos. So there's a nice little chronological thing there. We've seen similar things in the chapter records in Warhammer Conquest. It's then got how to build the Thorns of the Briar Queen. me and Julia will put them together later. It says careful clipping. There are some really fragile parts. If you built these or are building these, really be careful because I think they're going to be easy to break.
Especially with the roses on the arm.
So there's, that's literally the bit they're saying be careful on. You've got this kind of swirl of roses which comes from the Briar Queen, which looks amazing, but is incredibly thin and delicate. I'll just see if we can get a picture of it there. These are definitely not an army that are going to travel well. They're going to be very delicate, and it's going to be very difficult not to snap them. So it's going to be something that you want to be very careful when moving. It's also got the paint things. Step 1, opening the paint. Shake the paint vigorously and then open the lid, and then make sure you close the lid properly. You'd be surprised how many people. Yes, be surprised how many people get that wrong. It's got some basic stuff: Corax white, Nihilak oxide, and then a dry brush with Corax white, and then you get basic chain rasps. This army is going to be a lot easier to paint than most other armies. Next, we've got Spectral Ambush, an arcane jewel. The Briar Queen versus Xandria Azure Bolt. As I said, at some point, me and Julie are going to do a series where we go through all these battles. We're just at the moment trying to find time. We've got a lot of studies and things like that. So we've got the basis there with the hero cast phase where Xandria attacks. We've got the Briar Queen phase. Briar Queen. Sorry. We've got the Briar Queen attacks. Xandria attacks. The Briar Queen attacks. Xandria attacks. So we've got all that there with close combat and ranged combat.
So from the cat alone, it doesn't need to be hooked by you.
Well, yeah, basically the same as we had previously. Battle continues just by cycling through. Then we've got the war we've got the war scrolls for the Briar Queen, and got the war scrolls for the Gryph-hound and the thorns there, so you can play that again. So that's fairly straightforward. Next, got the bits to take, but go into GW, check out Wargamer UD, explore the hobby. So that's a lot of real cool stuff there. Next issue 7. Learn to shade and dry brush with your new paints. New rules for your games. We'll be getting those 2 paints, which are Roikland Flesh Shade and Stormhost Silver. Both of those are pretty useful. And then issue 8, Celestar Ballista and Cantor Blue Paint. First Siege Engine. That is really cool. It's exactly what it looks like, a massive crossbow thing. It fires doom at people. And you've got 2 guys that come with that and some blue Cantor paint. Issue 7 is going to cover discovering more of the storm hosts, learn to use shade paints and new rules to play through. Then issue 8 is going to cover obviously the Celestar Ballistas, painting with Counter Blue, and charging playthrough. So we're going to learn to add the new charging rules to our battles, which we're not currently using. Okie dokie. I hope you guys enjoyed that. Wargamer daughter is very tired, that's why she hasn't done much on this one.
Stop licking my foot.
And Wargamer dog is licking people's feet. So we'll see you guys next week for issue 7 of. We'll see you guys next week for issue 7 of Mortal Realms.
Bye.
Say goodbye, Wargamer dog. She says goodbye. Hi guys, hope you enjoyed that video, and if you did, remember to like and subscribe to my channel. I'm also on Facebook and Twitter. Not sure why, but I am. So if you like it, see me there, and please tell your friends. Thanks very much. Bye.